Now, focusing now on cost of conversion class, again, this would be relevant when we are dealing with a manufacturing firm. Now, this would be elaborated more on class when you discuss product costs in your cost accounting. In that subject class, you should learn that your product costs has three components, and these are your direct materials, direct labor, and overhead. Materials would be the raw materials I have mentioned earlier class. Labor would be the compensation or the salaries of the employees or workers connected to the production of your goods. And your overhead costs class would be those costs that are still to be incurred in relation to the production of your goods class or in the rendering of your service other than your direct materials and your direct labor. So your overhead class would be a dumping classification for the rest of your production costs. So please remember these three components of product costs class: direct labor, direct materials, and overhead. Your overhead costs class can again come in any form as long as it is related to your production and it is not a direct material or a direct labor. It would be dumped or it would be thrown into your overhead costs. Common example class, if you're just renting your factory plant, the rent on your factory plant is an essential cost for you to be able to undertake your production process, then that should be part of your product cost. Electricity, water, and other utilities that are necessary in your production process should be part of the cost of your product. But is it a direct material? No. Is it a direct labor? No. But is it necessary in the production process? Is it incurred in relation to the production process? Then yes. So that would be part of your product cost as your factory overhead. No problem with direct labor class and direct materials because it's very easy to assign or attribute their cost to the products themselves, to the goods themselves. Why? Because you can directly trace them to the finished goods. You're making a furniture class. The wood that you are using is a direct materials. And is it easy for you to determine how much wood was used in the production? The answer is yes. Whatever is the cost of the materials that was directly used in the production of your finished goods would be assigned to that particular finished product. With regard to your rent, to your utilities, and to the other costs that are not directly applied to your finished products class, it would be very difficult to assign their costs. Should their cost be included in the cost of your products? The answer is yes. But is it easy for you to trace and assign these costs to your finished output? The answer is no, because they are not directly applied to your finished products class. And that is why the focus of your cost accounting class would be to learn on how to assign and allocate these indirect costs. Again, no problem for direct materials and direct labor. They are considered as direct costs. They are directly applied to the products themselves. So it's very easy to trace and assign their costs to the finished outputs. But with regard to your factory overhead, with regard to your indirect costs class, it would be very difficult to assign them to your numerous final output. That is why we are forced to make an allocation class. And the manner of allocating these indirect costs would be the focus of your cost accounting. But at this point, my concern would be for you to know that out of the three components of your product costs, your direct materials, direct labor, and factory overhead, your factory overhead can further be broken down into two, which are your fixed overhead and your variable overhead. Your fixed production overhead and your variable production overhead. Now, as to the difference class, these should not be challenging on your part. Their names are very indicative of their behavior or their nature. If we're talking about fixed production overhead, we're talking about a cost, we're talking an amount that is fixed. That is fixed regardless of the level of production. Whether you produce 10,000 units, 50,000 units, or 100,000 units, this cost would remain constant. The total amount would remain the same. Best example again would be your rent class. regardless of how many products you'll be able to produce within your factory building class, the amount of rent that you will have to pay will generally be fixed or constant. Now, an example of your variable production overhead class would again be the electricity, water, and other utilities that you will use in the production facility class. Now, the behavior of your variable production overhead class is that their total would generally depend on the level of production. The more you produce, the more electricity you will have to use. Therefore, the higher your variable overhead will be. The lower your production level class, the less electricity you will consume. Therefore, the lower your variable overhead will be. So, the difference is very easy to understand, class. Total fixed overhead will remain the same regardless of the level of production, whether it's high or low. Whereas, your variable overhead class would depend on the level of production. Total variable overhead will be high if production level is high. Total variable overhead would be low if production level or production activity is also low. Now, that should be very easy to understand, class. But this is how questions make it confusing for students, man. Again, remember that these costs, your total fixed overhead, your total variable overhead, would have to be allocated to all your finished output, to all your finished goods. To make students confused, class, they would ask, as a true or false question, whether the fixed factory overhead, the fixed production overhead per unit will remain constant regardless of the level of production. Now, if the student is careless, class, they would hastily answer, that's correct. Because again, we are programmed to remember that if it's a fixed overhead class, then the amount would be constant. If you listen carefully, class, the question does not pertain to the total fixed overhead. It pertains to your fixed overhead per unit. Now, the total amount, again, will remain constant. But if you are now asked on a per unit basis, class, then definitely the per unit amount would vary depending on the production levels. If you produce more, class, then your fixed overhead per unit would be lower because when you divide your total fixed overhead by the total number of units produced, the quotient or the resulting per unit amount, class, would be lower if your denominator is big. When will your denominator be big? It would be big if the number of units produced is big. Because again, the formula to get your fixed overhead per unit is total fixed overhead divided by total number of units produced. The more units produced, the higher the denominator, therefore the lower the overhead per unit. But if your units produced, class, is low, then your denominator would be low, then your per unit fixed overhead would be high. So this is where students get confused. They have already established in their minds that fixed overhead is always constant. And again, that is true with regard to the total amount. But if you are talking about the per unit cost already, then definitely it will now vary depending on the level of production. The more units you produce, the higher the denominator, therefore the lower the per unit cost. The fewer units produced, the lower your denominator, therefore the higher your per unit cost will be. Again, as to the total fixed overhead is constant. On a per unit basis, your per unit overhead cost would be inversely related to the level of production. High production, low per unit. Low production, high per unit. Now, students would get more confused because the opposite would be true for your variable overhead. For your total variable overhead, class, again, it would depend on the level of production. The higher the level of production, the higher the total variable overhead. The lower the level of production, the lower the total variable overhead will be. But on a per unit basis class, your variable cost per unit would remain constant. Because the change in your total variable overhead is driven by the units produced class. Even if you divide your total variable overhead with the total number of units produced, the per unit result would still be the same. Because even if your denominator would go up as a consequence of a high level of production, your numerator also, which is your total variable overhead, would also increase, and normally at the same rate as the increase in the level of production. But even if production level is low, meaning number of units produced is low, but as a result, your total variable overhead would also be low. And that is why, on a per unit basis, your variable overhead would remain constant. And that is again what will make students confused. Why is there something constant with regard to a variable overhead? But again, just understand the difference class when the perspective is on a total amount or in a per unit basis. If you didn't get it the first time class, just try to listen to it again.